Good afternoon, and good morning, California. I'm Richard Flaherty, President of the International Corrugated Packaging Foundation, and I wish to welcome you to this 11th International Corrugated Packaging Foundation Careers in Corrugated Teleconference. I also wish to thank the students and faculty from the 18 colleges and universities that are making this our most successful teleconference ever. You may best know the International Corrugated Packaging Foundation by the teaching assets that we provided to many of your campuses, the ICPF CAD tables, the testing equipment, and certainly the corrugated curricula that you can access online. ICPF's principal reason for the production of the International Teleconference is to provide faculty and students better insight to the industry. And I wish to also offer each of you an invitation. If you're a packaging student, a graphic design student, an engineering student, or a business student, we wish you would consider a career in corrugated packaging and display. It is a $23 billion a year industry, and it creates the most sustainable and green packaging on the planet. Most importantly, upon entering the industry, you will play a major role in making it packaging even more sustainable for a greener planet tomorrow. You can learn more about careers in corrugated by going to our website, www.careersincorrugated.org. And if you have questions or have interest in an internship, you can email us at info@icpf.org. Our moderator today is Brett Kirkpatrick. This is Brett's 10th year in supporting the teleconference, and we wish to thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Richard. I have to apologize in advance. I came down with a little bit of what I'll call the Michigan cold or flu. When I left LA on Monday, it was 80 degrees and not a cloud really in sight. And obviously, I'm in a drastically different environment. And it may have caught up to me, but thanks to CVS and all of the many drugs that are supplied there, I'm able to stand in front of you today and make this presentation. So again, welcome to the ICPF's 11th Annual Careers in Corrugated International Teleconference. The ICPF is an educational foundation co-sponsored by the Association of Independent Corrugated Converters, headquartered in the Washington, D.C. area, and the Fiber Box Association in Chicago. I am Brett Kirkpatrick, and my full-time job is serving as Vice President of Operations at Bay Cities Container in Southern California. My firm is one of over 60 corporations with hundreds of facilities that support this annual teleconference and the mission and other activities of ICPF, your host. As Richard indicated, today we will make career opportunities in the corrugated packaging and display industry more accessible to you through presentations that will make you more knowledgeable of the industry. Today you will hear about the differences in operations and the flexible career paths within an independent firm and a publicly held firm and an integrated firm. You'll also hear about the latest in sustainability advances in such areas as managing material resources, reducing the environmental footprint, and the building of strategic partnerships. I am wearing an Aloha shirt today, as I have for the last 10 years, and this just kind of represents what we do at Bay Cities. It's one of our corporate and core values to have fun, and if you show up at our company on any given day, there's a mixture of different people wearing different colliding Hawaiian shirts at any given time. And it's just kind of a fun way to express our individuality and really versatility. And you may find that in different box plants across the U.S. With over 1,300 locations in the U.S. alone, virtually each of you, no matter in what state or province you reside, live within easy commuting distance of a potential corrugated packaging and display employer. We are live here at Michigan State, and today we have 18 colleges and universities and 20 programs or departments with over 400 students across North America participating. Several of the colleges and universities are participating today for the first time to further introduce the students to career opportunities within the industry, as well as to learn more about the industry to help best expand their corrugated packaging and display curricula. Today we welcome Appalachian State University. Welcome Professor John Kraft and your students. John, I understand you and your students are making good use of the ICPF CAD table and software. Bowling Green State University, a new participant this year that has recently introduced corrugated curricula to its graphic communications program. Bowling Green will integrate structural design this fall. Welcome Dr. Troutman, Professor Fugit, and the Falcons. Cal Poly State University, a perennial educational partner with which my firm works extensively, has received a recipient of is a recipient of a myriad of lab and other equipment from the ICPF. This year, both the packaging and the graphic communication programs are joining us. Welcome Dr. Singh and Dr. Levinson and the Mustangs. Clemson University, home to the BOPS, corrugated press, and other equipment donated through the ICPF. Welcome again to Professors Liam O'Hara and Bob Moore and their students from both the graphic communication and packaging departments. The two programs have been participating together in the teleconference for the past 3 to 4 years. Dunwoody College of Technology, another recent recipient of an ICPF CAD table and software. Welcome Professors Pete Rivard and your students. I enjoyed viewing the pictures that you sent recently to the ICPF on some of the student display designs. Very nice work. Illinois State University, welcome to Professor Dan Wilson and your students for the first Careers in Corrugated Teleconference. Illinois State's graphic communication program is also planning to integrate corrugated packaging into its curriculum. Lewis Clark State College, welcome to Professor Brian Kolstad and your students from the beautiful state of Idaho for your first Careers in Corrugated Teleconference as well. For those of you who do not know, Lewis Clark campus is literally adjacent to the Washington State border. And let's hear it from Professor Bruce Hart, Sue Selke, Diana Tweedy, Dennis Young, and other faculty, and the Spartans here at Michigan State University. Now come on, you can cheer louder than that. You sound like a bunch of Wolverines. Oh, man. Mohawk College, welcome Professor Sean McNaughton and Derek Whitney and your students. This has been a great month for Canada, with the exception of the men's hockey kind of thing there. After our industry panel presentation and questions, the Mohawk student team will begin our competition presentations today. Millersville University and Thaddeus Stevens College, welcome Professor Mark Snyder and Dr. Dennis Duarte and their students. Millersville University students qualified for the Best of the Best design competition in their first year of instruction on the CAD table and software provided by the ICPF. Dr. Snyder, I haven't seen the video yet, but I'm sorry about your laptop. Welcome to the teleconference this year. North Carolina A&T State University, another CAD table recipient. Welcome to Professors Dr. Cynthia Thompson and Dr. Mitch Henke and your students. Pennsylvania College of Technology, welcome again this year to Professor Jim Lentz and your students. I've been hearing great reports on your use of the ICPF corrugated lab you received this past fall. Rochester Institute of Technology, welcome Professor Thomas Couch and your students. It's good to have RIT back with us this year. University of Florida, welcome Professor Bruce Welt, Wesley Taylor, and your fellow students. Wesley is the president of the Florida Student Packaging Club and has been very instrumental in assisting with the Florida participation in the teleconference. I also hope the members of your club are making good use of the CAD table the ICPF provided almost 3 years ago. University of Wisconsin, Stout, welcome to Dr. Richard Rothup, Professor Robert Meisner and their students. UW Stout Packaging is a regular annual participant in the teleconference. Virginia Tech and State University, welcome Professor Ralph Rupert, Bonnie and your students. Virginia Tech was a recipient of an ICPF CAD table and software a couple years back and recently received both a compression and a shock tester. Most recently, Professor Rupert received an AICC scholarship this fall for his doctoral study in packaging. Western Michigan University, a fourth-year participant, welcome Professor Larry Alleman and the Broncos. We'll now go to our panel. Please keep in mind that the PowerPoints utilized by the speakers are available next week by going to the ICPF's website, www.careersincorrugated.org. After the panel completes its presentations, we will then go to you, the college and university students out there, for your questions. I ask that during the panel session, faculty collaborate with your students and develop a question and a backup question in case another school asks your first question ahead of you. Please write them down Be immediately ready with your question, and we'll try to get to all campuses. We do have a lot of sites today, and we really want to get to everybody. Speakers, please be brief and no more than 1 minute. After your questions, we'll hold our 7th Best of the Best Student Winners Competition. The first and second place winners in the 2009 AICC Student Corrugated Design Competition will compete for top cash prizes today. I also will tell you how to enter the 2010 AICC Student Design Competition, so stay tuned. So why has corrugated industry thrived for more than 100 years as the other industries have slipped into oblivion? Corrugated is an agile, sustainable product. It does a whole lot more than simply protect and ship products. It offers tremendous creative capabilities in meeting customers' packaging and display needs, while minimizing impact on the environment. A graphic example of this is the hotly competitive retail market in which corrugated has excelled in grabbing customer and consumer attention and selling product. Coca-Cola told the Wall Street Journal recently that consumers respond more to the package than they do the brand, and that's power. And that's corrugated in today's marketplace. Careers in corrugated packaging and displays are exciting, challenging, and can be very rewarding. It's the only corrugated packaging that positively supports the environment, and our panelists will tell you more about that. First up is Mike Snowball. Mike is the Vice President and General Manager of the Paper and Packaging Division for Liberty Diversified International headquarters in Minneapolis. Mike has spent nearly 25 years in the paper and packaging industry in various leadership and executive positions. His depth of experience includes mill expansions, establishing joint ventures with foreign corporations, and a focus on customer satisfaction. With a background in sales, marketing, and operations and general management, he also has a black belt in Six Sigma and numerous affiliations with industry associations. Mike will provide us insight to the operations and diverse career paths within an independent corrugated packaging and display corporation. Mike?
Thank you, Brett. It's good to be here with you all today. Brett, I do have to admit that when I learned about how many times you had visited CVS yesterday and the amount of drugs you purchased, I called my stockbroker this morning and bought some stock in CVS, so I do hope you're feeling better.
Thank you.
I know you've helped my portfolio. Today I'm delighted to be here to talk to you about and promote careers in corrugated. I'm going to be representing careers from an independent standpoint. And by independent, I mean the independent corrugated converter. And an independent corrugated converter is typified by being privately held and typically focusing just on manufacturing and selling and providing corrugated packaging solutions. They generally are not integrated into papermaking or forestry. Today there are about 700 locations that are independent, and they produce about 26% of the annual consumption of corrugated in the U.S. During my presentation, I'll be providing perspective on careers from an integrated standpoint. I'll profile a world-class integrated LDI corporation, describe some of the benefits of working for an independent, and offer advice for launching your career with an independent. Let's begin by profiling LDI, a world-class independent. LDI is representative of a multi-generational family-owned business that focuses on customers and employees, has been creating sustainable value by building a legacy business, and grown its core paper and packaging business while strategically diversifying into other businesses to manage the risk of cyclicality in our business. It began 92 years ago when a young Russian immigrant, Jack Fitterman, came to the U.S. and located in Minneapolis and started a recycling business with a wagon and half a horse. Yes, half a horse. He shared the horse with another entrepreneur. And Jack, the main method of packaging in those days was burlap sacks and wooden crates. So he would collect and purchase used burlap sacks and crates and refurbish them and then sell them. So the genesis was in the recycling business. Then the packaging medium changed to corrugated. And the company diversified through multiple generations and is in the third generation today. Jack's son, Ben, and Ben's son, Mike, drove the company through rapid growth. It is a great story of rapid growth and expansion. In the corrugated business, it started as a sheet plant, then a corrugator plant, and then actually purchases of other corrugated plants, and 15 years ago, the building of a world-class mini mill. LDI today is not only characterized by diverse businesses strategically participating in 5 markets, but is focused on being a solutions provider to its customers and not just a manufacturer. Over its 92-year history, LDI has grown on the foundation of its shared values. Our business model is simple, as depicted by this 4x4 model, with our values at the core and our value proposition or our promise being delivered through 4 strategic pillars or cornerstones. Our values are described as sight, caring for our customers and our employees, innovation and excellence in everything we do, and establishing trust with honesty and integrity. From the core values, our strategic cornerstones are built. We are building a high-performance organization, and we have a robust talent development process where every employee is expected to develop their skills and leadership and reach their full potential. It's truly a culture of winning and accountability. We leverage innovation and excellence to build best-in-class products and services to create a value-creating customer experience. Without a superior value delivery system and good go-to-market strategies and execution, there would be no value imparted to the customer. And since we are a manufacturing-based and marketing-based company, we must create efficient and effective processes for quality and speed, delivering on our promise with exceptional operational excellence. To manage risk, LDI has created a portfolio of businesses in 5 strategic markets. Several of these businesses were actually outgrowths of innovations that came from the core packaging business. Today, building products is the Diversiplast division, and it makes ridge vents and roofing solutions for the building industry. We recently entered the healthcare business with an international acquisition called Ergolet, a Denmark-based company with manufacturing in Poland and distribution in the U.S., which focuses on patient lift and mobility devices. We've entered the precision machinery business with making highly complex milling machines for the tool and die making industry through our Miltronics division and our joint venture in Taiwan with Takumi. We're in workplace environments with our Safeco and Patrician divisions, where we provide office furniture and office organization solutions and products that create comfort in your work zone. Our core business, paper and packaging, represents over half the employees and over 55% of our revenue. With over 90 years of service and growth, LDI's paper and packaging businesses are leaders in sustainability and innovative packaging solutions, creating value for a wide and diverse customer base. The packaging group, Liberty Carton Companies, consists of 5 facilities providing corrugating packaging solutions, graphic packaging, point-of-purchase displays across the Midwest and the South. The paper group, Liberty Paper and DreamWorks Coating Solutions, is a world-class cogeneration mini mill which transforms 100% OCC into 100% recycled high-performance liner, in a business which creates and provides decorative and functional liner-based coating solutions. LDI's paper and packaging's mantra in delivering superior solutions and customer experience has been dedicated to delighting our customers. We do so by bundling innovation, sustainability, efficient, effective, and effortless customer service with a deep and strong customer relationship in a solutions-based selling approach. One of the tools we're using to transform our business and make good on our promise for operational excellence is Lean Six Sigma. We are combining the quality and cost reduction of the Six Sigma process by narrowing variation of all our processes with the speed and waste elimination of Lean. This transforms our business. It's customer-focused, The thing that I like about it the most is that it enables engagement of all our employees, creating a high involvement, high participatory, and satisfactory, high satisfaction level work environment. This drives results for our customers, our employees, and our business. Shifting gears, there are many benefits to careers with independence. You can develop a strong sense of family and belonging and ownership in the business. You develop strong, long-lasting relationships, and you can become part of an extended family and not just a number in a large corporation. Another benefit in the independent world is that independents think and operate outside the box. In this case, it's outside the organizational chart or organizational box for you. Independents are generally lean, and you and your expertise will be fully leveraged, and you can participate across functional and organizational boundaries. You can take on broad responsibilities quickly, learn, and grow. Independents offer an exciting and fast-paced environment as decisions are made quickly with fewer levels of management and layers in the process. Another huge benefit with an independent is the environment fostering innovation and results. Independents must rely upon their employees to innovate products, services, business models in their pursuit of profitable growth. Well-financed independents have staying power to develop innovative ideas in their pursuit of building a business and a legacy. There are no quarterly Wall Street pressures. This is a profile in success for us. Kevin Dewey. We recruited Kevin from a well-known packaging school with a packaging degree. He entered our organization and went through a management training process and entered the field of sales, where today after 5 years, he is a highly successful consultative seller, delivering value to his customers by consulting on supply chain and packaging needs. He's deeply involved in participating in our organization at many levels and participates on multiple Lean Six Sigma teams as well as community action teams. So where do you fit? I recommend you have a goal and a plan to get the job and the career that you want. There are many opportunities. I'd like to highlight just one opportunity in sales and marketing, and that would be if you've read the book and the work by Neil Rackham, Rethinking the Sales Force, you know that if you're selling today the same way that you did 5 years ago, you're antiquated. I believe there's a real opportunity in our industry to differentiate on technical skills, expertise, and business acumen, to step change the level of professionalism in our business, and you can do so as you enter our industry. So how do you get your foot in the door? I suggest you take initiative, take action, visit the ICPF website, where you will find leads on internships, job openings, and have the forums to submit your resume. Also, I suggest you target companies that you're interested in, research them, get in front of the owners and the managers, and market yourself with a solid value proposition. Now is a great time to launch a career in packaging with independence. There's still a war on talent. There will be a talent drain as the baby boomer generation retires. The industry needs to renew itself with fresh ideas, innovation, and talent. And independents need strong, dedicated, and loyal leaders to help sustain their legacy and build their business. Thank you. I encourage you to consider a career with an independent. And remember, in smaller organizations, you have a larger opportunity to shine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Also, Bay Cities Container is an independent company, and I started there in 1986 as a structural designer and worked my way through. And I took the operations side of the chart versus the sales side, and it's been very rewarding and fun. And I get to do travel and do things like this, so it's pretty cool. Our next speaker is Alan Clark, Marketing Director of International Paper's Industrial Packaging Business. During his tenure with International Paper, Alan has been General Manager for IP's Smart Packaging RFID business, Group Vice President of Expedex Southern Group, and Vice President of Operations for Expedex South Central Region. Before joining IP, Alan was a senior engagement manager with McKinsey & Company, where he led management consulting teams to address strategic, operational, and organizational issues facing senior management of Fortune 500 companies. Alan also earned his Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical Engineering from North Carolina State University and his MBA in General Management from Harvard University. Alan will give us an update on the strides the industry is making to achieve even higher levels of sustainability and to otherwise further minimize its environmental footprint. Alan?
Thank you, Brett. Today I'd like to talk to you briefly on the subject of sustainability and the performance of the corrugated packaging industry. Sustainability is a very broad and involved topic, and I'm only going to hit on the highlights today in the brief time that we have, but I hope this will pique your interest and be the start of an informed dialogue on the subject. Sustainability is a shorthand term for the relationship between our actions today and their effect on the future. It basically means taking care of our needs today without adversely affecting our ability to meet the needs of the future. In recent years, the idea of sustainability has moved into the mainstream, but it's been at the heart of the way the corrugated packaging industry and the forest products industries have operated for decades. Some people believe that sustainability is simply the focus on reducing greenhouse gas emissions or fossil fuels use, but it's much broader. While these areas are of primary concern, sustainability encompasses what we think of as the triple bottom line. It recognizes the interconnections between the economy, the environment, and society. First, we need a healthy environment: clean air, clean water, clean soil, an environment where resources are replaced and replenished. Next is the need for a vibrant economy, a strong economy that fosters sound businesses, governments, and nonprofit organizations, one in which good jobs and basic community needs are provided for, and also provides a solid foundation for society. The third key area is social equity. That's meeting the needs of all citizens, things like providing good schools, affordable housing, and basic services. To be fully sustainable, we must be good stewards in all three areas. With that as the foundational definition of sustainability, let's look at what's driving the increased emphasis on sustainability and how the corrugated industry stacks up. There are several main factors that have brought sustainability to the forefront. The first is climate change. Whether it's man-caused or merely natural cycles, there's a growing concern about the changes that are occurring in the environment. Next is consumer interest. Consumers are more aware of their impact on the environment and more interested in driving positive change. Retailer and manufacturer initiatives. Retailers and consumer packaged good companies are undertaking many high-profile initiatives to reduce their environmental impact and the environmental impact of their suppliers and partners. Regulatory activities. The government's taking an ever-increasingly active role in the environment and in business. And then finally, by no means least, ethics. Focusing on sustainability is quite simply just the right thing to do. So in this environment, how sustainable and environmentally friendly is corrugated packaging? When you evaluate the corrugated packaging industry under the lens of sustainability, you see a very positive story. Simply stated, corrugated packaging is naturally sustainable. It's inherently renewable. We grow and replenish our own raw materials and generate most of our own energy. It's reusable. Corrugated containers serve multiple functions through the supply chain and have multiple uses. It's not only recyclable, but it's the most recycled form of packaging and has the highest recovery rate of any material. And finally, source reduction. We and our customers are constantly working to optimize our designs and reduce the fiber content. I'll now walk you through some facts and examples for each of these areas. Corrugated packaging is inherently renewable. We have two sources of fiber. One is virgin fiber that comes from sustainably managed forests, and the other is recovered and recycled fiber. It's important to understand that North American forest land is sustainably managed. Each year, 49% more wood grows in our country's forests than is harvested, and this has led to a steady increase in the amount of standing timber in the United States. In fact, the amount of standing timber in the United States has increased by 39% since 1952. This is a pretty impressive fact when you consider the population growth that's occurred in this country during the last 50 years. Recovery and recycling also provide a significant source of fiber for corrugated packaging. In fact, more than 80% of corrugated packaging is recovered for recycling, and that's the highest recovery rate of any packaging material. In addition to the renewable nature of our raw materials, we also rely heavily on renewable energy. The forest products industry is a significant producer of renewable energy. 60% of our energy consumption is from biofuels, and much of it is from the tree bark and other byproducts of the chipping and pulping processes. In fact, in 2005, the forest products industry generated 82% of the total biomass energy generated by the industrial sector. We've also undertaken many initiatives to reduce our dependence on fossil fuels and purchased energy. Paper mill consumption of fossil fuels and purchased energy per ton of product produced has decreased by 56% between 1972 and 2006, and we continue to make progress on this front, having brought it down by almost 10% between 2004 and 2006. Between the use of green energy and sustainable renewable resources, corrugated packaging is quite renewable. Another key element of corrugated sustainability is that it's reusable. The basic corrugated box performs multiple functions. It's used to transport, contain, store, merchandise, and display products. The top two pictures on this chart show some of the packaging designs that are multifunction. The strawberry box is initially used in the fields as the strawberries are picked. After it's used for picking, it's used for transportation, and ultimately as a display box in the retail environment. The Visine container on the top right serves as both a transport container as well as a point-of-purchase display. The corrugated containers also serve multiple uses and multiple cycles through the supply chain. The bulk pumpkin bin is designed for multiple trips, and the corrugated drum replaces steel and fiber drums that are frequently reused. I'd also expect that many of you used corrugated boxes when you moved into your dorms and apartments, and those boxes had previously served other purposes. After the multiple uses and cycles, corrugated containers are generally recycled. Paper and paperboard make up almost 75% of the recycled packaging material. Recycling of paper and paperboard products has been very successful. As you can see from the light blue line on this chart, the amount of paper that is recovered has been steadily increasing, and the darker line shows a corresponding decline in the amount of paper that's going to a landfill. The recycling story specifically for corrugated containers is even more impressive. There's been a steady increase in the amount and percentage of corrugated containers that are recycled. The bars on the chart represent the volume of corrugated that is recovered, and the line represents the percentage. In 2008, which is the most recent year for which we have data, the recovery rate for corrugated containers was over 80%. Because of this high recovery rate, the average corrugated box contains over 40% recycled fibers. The last of the four elements of sustainability that I want to talk to you about today is source reduction, or basically just using less. The corrugated packaging industry and our customers have been working together to optimize packaging designs and reduce the fiber content. This chart shows the steady decrease in linerboard basis weights that have occurred during the last 20 years. The decrease has been brought about through improved packaging designs that enable lighter weight constructions, and also through improved manufacturing technologies and capabilities in both the mills and the box plants. The corrugated packaging industry works closely with our customers to optimize packaging designs and thereby reduce the amount of fiber that's required. Corrugated boxes are typically custom designed for each individual application, taking into account the structural demands of the supply chain requirements for the package. This leads to designs like the ocean spray container on the right-hand side of this slide. In this application, the product itself, the juice bottles, are structurally capable of supporting the load forces when the boxes are stacked, so the box doesn't need to bear the brunt of the forces. Recognizing this allowed the packaging designers to reduce the amount of fiber content in much of the board that would have been used in a typical container. Additionally, the redesign enabled the package to be used not only as a transport container, but as a retail display in club store and mass merchandisers. As the mills have improved their manufacturing technologies and capabilities, we're able to make stronger papers with less fiber. These high-performance liners ultimately lead to lighter, stronger packages with less fiber content. Similarly, improving converting processes ensures maximum possible box strength from these performance liners. Finally, packaging designers and customers are utilizing more efficient designs. The two white boxes on the bottom of this slide are a good example of this. The volume of both boxes is identical. Each will contain or will hold the same amount of product, but simply moving the flaps from the square side of the box to the narrow rectangular side reduces the amount of fiber consumed by 24%. Changes such as these have led to a decrease in the amount of corrugated used to ship a unit of industrial production by more than 19% between 1994 and 2005. I think you've seen over the last several slides that the corrugated packaging industry is a great example of sustainability, and it has a great story to tell. Recognizing this, the industry undertook a significant initiative to quantify and document the full environmental impact of corrugated packaging through a complete analytical framework known as a life cycle analysis. The LCA provides an audited quantification of the corrugated packaging industry's environmental footprint and will be released next month after going through a thorough and exhaustive review process. All the data in the LCA has been substantiated and peer-reviewed to ensure accuracy and credibility. The data shows the cradle-to-grave impact of a corrugated container from the initial conception in the forest to the end-of-life scenarios and includes all the harvesting, manufacturing, converting, transportation, and logistics processes in between. The data is drawn from 56 mills, which is 95% of the linerboard production in the U.S., and includes data from 162 converting facilities. The LCA has several purposes. It'll provide factual data to educate and inform stakeholders, customers, and employees. It'll enable all interested parties to better understand the environmental performance of corrugated through all life stages. And it'll promote continuous improvement of the environmental sustainability of corrugated packaging. When this analysis is released next month, it'll put a strong set of facts and data behind the points we've been discussing today and will allow for factual comparison to other substrates. Corrugated packaging is the natural choice for sustainability. To briefly sum up, corrugated is made from a raw material that is a sustainable natural resource, and the industry gets most of its energy from green fuels. Corrugated products are reusable and multi-purpose. They're recyclable and have the highest reclamation and recovery rate of any packaging material, with over 80% of corrugated containers recovered and recycled. And the industry has been very aggressive and proactive in source reduction through the introduction of high-performance liners, improved manufacturing capabilities and technologies, and innovative designs. All of these factors support corrugated as the best choice for sustainable packaging. Our industry is proud of our performance. In this regard, and with the upcoming release of the life cycle analysis, you'll see an even more extensive fact base supporting corrugated as the naturally sustainable choice. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Almost took out Miley. Couldn't have that happen. You know what? The number 2 recycled item, highest recycled and highest recovered item is aluminum cans. And you would have guessed that that would be higher or maybe even getting close to where corrugated's at, but it's definitely a distant second to corrugated boxes. Our final speakers are Richard Branson and Carla Hill. Rich is Director of Sales for Smurfit Stone's Image Pack Display Group. His major clients include such big names as Procter & Gamble, Disney, Paramount, Universal, Fox, Johnson & Johnson, Unilever, and Wrigley. Rich has served as General Manager of Smurfit Stone's Cincinnati operation and Vice President of Sales for Chesapeake Display and Packaging. Rich has a business BA degree from Elon University. Carla is a Senior Design Specialist for Smurfit Stone Image Pack in Jackson, Wisconsin. Utilizing both a structural design and graphic design background, she develops high-impact and innovative POP display from concept through production. Carla graduated from the Packaging and Graphic Design program at Humber College in Toronto, another past teleconference participant that is located just across town from Mohawk College. Rich?
Thank you, Greg. I'd like to thank the ICPF for the opportunity to be here today. Certainly wish to acknowledge the schools that are in attendance. And I see up here Millersville University. I'd like to make special acknowledgement to them. They are there in my home of Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. So with that saying, my name is Richard Branson. I am Director of Sales for Smurfit Stone's Image Pack Display Group. The Image Pack Display Group is about a $500 million division of Smurfit Stone. Smurfit Stone is a $7 billion company, a little bit different than the independents that we talked about just a few minutes ago. Make no difference between the two, whether it be an independent or whether it be an integrated. We would like for you to consider employment with us either way. So there's nothing to be gained either way on that. I do have a degree in business from Elon University. I know that's very close to North Carolina North Carolina A&T there in North Carolina. Started out with a major in math and a minor in religion, which is a very unusual way to get into the packaging business. As my dad said, is that I can quantify my decisions and then have the good sense to pray for good results on those. So I've always thought that was a real benefit, but I changed over to business later on in my career. I got into packaging accidentally. I was working in sales. They closed a division down at a textile company that I was working for. They put me over into a temporary assignment into purchasing, and that was package purchasing. And 10 years later, I escaped and went to the dark side. I went to the sales side of the organization. But since that time, I've worked for an independent. I've worked for several large companies, both of which have strong advantages. And certainly, again, I wish for you to consider a job within this industry. Starting out, and we'll talk about Smurfit Stone a little bit. I'll give you a little bit of background on the company that I work for. Smurfit Stone is a $7 billion company with respect to annual sales, and that's global sales. That would include what we're doing in Europe and China. The company this past year has reorganized. Since that time, we have built up cash of a little bit over $1 billion. Our liabilities that we have in the company is about $1.3 billion as we stand today, so it actually makes us one of the strongest financial competitors in the entire industry, which is good for us going forward. The other thing that we've done over the last 3 years is a little bit unique to the industry, is that we kind of looked back and we said, you know what, this industry's not done a lot of reinvestment. And so we have, over the last 3 years, invested over $700 million in new capital for our plants. We call that the scaling initiative, and that's going to allow us to be competitive going forward. And the last thing on this slide, and the thing that is most important to Smurfit Stone, is safety. At one time, Smurfit Stone may have been one of the least safe companies to work in this industry. We put together a very significant initiative to change that around. We had, I think it was about a 5-year plan to be able to overcome that. Within 3 years, we had achieved that goal. We continue to work towards being the safest manufacturer within the corrugated industry. And at this point in time, the majority of our plants are operating at world-class levels. And certainly we are now the undisputed leader in that category. And we invite everybody else to catch up with us, too. That's for sure. We'd like for everybody to work safely. One of the things, and we'll talk a little bit about Smurfit, but this also goes for the integrateds, too, and that is the fact that we have broad geographic coverage. So when you look at the map that I have here, think of those as potential employment opportunities going forward. We have over 100 plants. Part of them are board mills. Obviously, a lot of them are corrugated plants or sheet plants. We have some recycling centers, and then we also have 2 preprint plants. But all those would be potential places for people to work, and we're clearly one of the larger employers in the industry. Smurfit itself consists of 6 primary areas. I mean, obviously, as an integrated, we manufacture our own paper from trees, right? That's the beginning of the whole thing, and we end up with an invoice to a customer for something that we've done. But we manufacture paper from trees. Then as a result of having that paper, we have our own corrugated box plants where we ship the majority of the materials to. They turn it into corrugated boxes for consumer products companies all throughout North America. And then the group that I'm with is the Image Pack Group, which again is about a $500 million division. We design and manufacture corrugated temporary displays for large consumer products companies, and we went through some of those. The largest of ours would be Johnson & Johnson, Unilever. We do a lot of business with Disney and the entertainment accounts on the West Coast, which is kind of the fun side of our business. The other areas that we have would be the automation group, where we will go into a company and we will design pieces of equipment specifically to go on their floor to help them be able to save money. Obviously, the thing that we want to do is we want to be able to provide the packaging that runs on that equipment. So there's a little bit of a self-serving interest there, but it's nice. It works well for our customers. We also have a global division, and that's either Smurfit plants and or JVs that we have over in China and the Far East. That allows us to be able to manufacture materials for a lot of our clients that want to pack out or do things in the Far East and then ship them here to America. So we're able to, as a result of that, and because of our extensive design network, we're able to, I'll pick for instance, like Mead school products. Mead school products, we will go through and design them on a local basis at our design agencies, and then we will send those orders to our plants in China where the materials are married. They can either be packed there or brought over to the West Coast at Long Beach and then married up with product and displays and packed and then shipped directly to retail. So it's a nice service. It allows us to close that loop within our organization. And then lastly, I don't know how many of you know this, but Smurfit is the largest recycler in North America. We have an entire division that does nothing but go around and reclaim and collect materials that are coming from the materials that our customers are using. So there's a lot of brown box associated with that. There's a lot of printed packaging, but there's also metals and other things associated with the recycling effort. We'll switch over a little bit now, and we'll move away from just Smurfit, and I'll try to talk more in terms of just the industry itself from an integrated. I probably will regress a little bit just simply because I work for Smurfit, so bear with me on that. But the career path is something that we really need you to grasp. And I'm struggling here to say what I really want to say, but this is an industry that over the last few years has spent a great deal of money. We're no longer dealing with just people at the purchasing or the lower end of the organization. It's not that purchasing's not low, but those people have now, instead of becoming a guy that they brought in out of the plant, they've all of a sudden become an MBA. And they're people who really understand this business, and so we need well-educated, highly energetic people to be able to come into our industry to help us to be able to sustain and to grow. And that's the reason that we're here. Now, a little bit in terms of the benefits of working for an integrated, and again, these are going to be a little bit different than the independents, but as part of it is obviously we are national. We as the integrated group are national in scope and scale. And again, you saw the map. It has almost every state covered in there. There were a few states that are not. Ironically, when I was looking at that before I made the comment this morning, is Michigan is a state that we have no plant in. So I was almost surprised to see that myself. But we have that national scope and scale. So again, those are all employment opportunities that come about for our people. As a result of that and being national is that we have networked opportunities. And by that, I mean that if you were to work in one of our operations on the East Coast and be acknowledged as a employee with high potential to go forward in the grading system, then what we would do is we would look throughout, not just in that plant or that local region, but we would look throughout the entire company to be able to see if there's something that would fit your skill set in some place that would allow you to advance. So that's part of the real advantage that an integrated would have in terms of being able to extend and have more opportunities for people. Also, as a result of the fact that we have a lot of employees and we have a lot of opportunities, then we're able to have formal training. We're not just training one or two people. We're often training 100 people or 50 people or something of that nature. And certainly the formal training allows us to consolidate. It allows us to do some things from a process standpoint that we're all trying to do things the same way. So it's another real advantage that we have. We certainly have a competitive benefits package. I would think that the benefits packages of the independents and the integrateds are probably just about the same. And then lastly, we have something that I think is very important, and it should be to this group, it is to me, is that we have customer diversity. And by customer diversity, I mean, I've got here, this is not an industry list, but this is a list of one of the offices that I manage, is we have a lot of different brands and a lot of different customers that we're able to work with on a daily basis. So this gives you the opportunity to, let's say, it was talked about last night at dinner. If you're working for Procter & Gamble and you're working on a Tide box, you may work on that Tide box for a year. Whereas here, one day you may be working with Disney, you may be working with Johnson & Johnson. The following day you could be working with their competitor, which is Unilever. So it allows you to be able to branch out and do some different things that you couldn't do if you went to work just for a CPG or a consumer products company. Now, how do you go to work for an integrated? Again, you've got the areas that we talked about before. We've got the careers in corrugated.org. We've got that changed instead of the .com. You've got the typical ways of going about it. You've got Monster. Clearly, in this area, you've got intern programs, school placement services, career fairs, and company websites. So where do I fit? I'm trying to speed up a little bit, so I apologize. So where do I fit in this industry? And this is kind of directed at you. In our instance, I was looking out and looking at the crowds that were here. We see two areas that would be a good fit. The first would be in the design area of our business, both structural and graphic. The second area would be on the sales side. From a design training standpoint, the industries almost all offer peer-to-peer training. They would hook you up with a senior design specialist, say, such as Carla Hill here, and you'd be able to learn from her. We have formal classroom training. That would be both internal and external training programs. One of the great things would be client interaction. When you're dealing with these large companies, what you're going to be is you're going to be involved with them on a team basis. So you'd be working with the Walmart team, you'd be working with the Costco team, you'd be working with the Sam's team to be able to continue to grow as a person. Obviously, we've got client diversification, which we spoke about in the other slide. The other key thing is, and I think that my friend Eva back here that I met during dinner is going to be happy, is that we have materials diversification. In the display side of the business, we work not only in display and paperboard, but we're working across with lenticular, we're working with plastics, we've got motion, we've got a lot of different other things that we do other than just work with paper, and our people tend to be very happy about it. And then the last thing is, from a design standpoint, is that we send our people to trade shows in which they're looking at what everybody else is designing. Moving forward, from a sales training standpoint, what we try to do with our people is we want to have them interact with design. We'd like them to be able to understand what's happening, how that whole process works going forward. Then we move them forward and we allow them to work with the customer service groups. And obviously, if you're going to be with customer service, then what you're going to want to understand is, how they estimate and price orders, order entry, how that whole thing looks so that you can interact with our customers going forward. You've got tooling, plates, and litho involvement, and then you've got client follow-up. In addition to that, we want to hook people up with operations. So in this instance, that means you're working directly with all of our plants and all the plant functions. And then lastly, on the sales and marketing side, we want to give you experience with what we would call the competitive overview. In that instance, we're sitting down and we're comparing ourselves, strengths and weaknesses, if you have any weaknesses, to your competitors. Clearly, we want to talk about territory development, forecasting, and opportunity fit matrix. And that's essentially where we're trying to match up the customers with what we call an ideal customer profile. If I can get this to change. I'm concluding by showing you just the image pack map of all of our locations. This, again, would be considered to be employment opportunities that we would have. And with that, I'd like to introduce Carla Hill. And Carla is a senior design specialist with the Image Pack division of Smurfit Stone.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carla Hill. I'm a senior design specialist for Smurfit Stone Image Pack. I am not a public speaker. I'm going to let you know that right now. I'm not nearly as eloquent as any of these guys, so just bear with me, okay? All right, so as a senior design specialist, this means I utilize both my structural background and my graphic background to create packaging solutions and POP displays. Not sure how many of you are interested in that, but not too long ago, I was in your position. I was fresh out of school and I was looking for my first real job. So I'm here today to talk about the kind of candidates that a corrugated company is looking for, both with the integrated companies and the independent companies. Basically, I'm going to tell you about the kind of person that I'm looking to work with. So, you've decided to pursue a career in packaging. Whether you're interested in sales, structural design, graphic design, all these have certain qualities that a packaging professional must have. A good candidate will have good communication skills. You'll need to be able to present your ideas and explain them well enough to get your point across to your client. You need to be creative. You should have strong sketching skills for graphics and structure. This goes along with communication skills because one of the ways that we communicate is through sketches. You need to be an original thinker. Remember, there are no bad ideas, only ideas that aren't applicable at this time. You can always save your idea for another time or another project. You need to work well in teams. You should be able to provide good feedback to your team members and be able to take constructive criticism. One of the toughest lessons I had to learn was to let go of my work. Ultimately, we are trying to please the customer, so make the changes suggested and don't take it personally. You need to be able to prioritize. Often you'll be able to work on multiple projects. You need to be able to determine what needs to be done first in order to meet the needs of the customer. Also, you need to be a self-starter and a self-motivator. A deadline is a deadline. Seldom are there extensions, not like college. You can't call somebody up and be like, I'm going to be late. I'm sorry. They say, no, we need it now. You only have a certain amount of time. And don't be afraid to ask questions. It's okay to say that you don't know something, and it's okay to say you don't understand. Your colleagues will help you out. That's why we're here. And lastly, you need to be professional in your conduct. That means you need to dress appropriately. You need to show up on time every day. And the one thing I want to tell you, though, is I'm sure all of you being right out of school, you're very enthusiastic, and that's definitely something that we're looking for. We like enthusiasm, we like go-getters, we like people who are excited about what they're doing. So do you think this is you? If you think you'd be a good fit within one of our organizations, we would love to have you. Thank you. Send us your resumes.
Thanks, Rich and Carla. At Bay Cities on Casual Day on a Friday, we wear shorts and flip-flops, but just not in the design area because of the knives and things like that, kind of dangerous. And safety is paramount, of course. Now it's time for our student Q&A portion of the program. So we're going to go in the same order that we did the roll call earlier, starting out with Appalachian State University. Unmute your mic, and if you could be ready to go with your first question, kick it off here for us. Appalachian?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Okay. This question relates to the Smurfit Stone, Richard Branson. He discussed that the industry needs highly educated employees. And we were wondering, other than the classes that we have in printing and packaging, what other classes should students be sure to take to prepare for careers in the packaging industry?
I would be spending a great deal of time working on math as well as language and communication skills. The majority of people that we have coming out of college are certainly well educated. They typically have high energy, certainly want to succeed. The areas that we have to spend the most time with our new employees is to be able to communicate and write well to clients. And then certainly we would like to have people that, again, I talked about math. I'd like to see people be able to quantify their decisions.
Okay, good question and good answer. Thank you. Let's move over to Bowling Green State University. You have your question prepared for our panel?
Yes, this is for Aaron Clark. What are some of the unique futuristic issues that the corrugated industry is facing, and what areas of research are most important to the industry?
I'd say the main areas right now are on process issues to improve the performance of the linerboard, to improve the manufacturing capabilities. Also, there's a lot of work being done on energy efficiency. So a lot of things that correlate not only with the sustainability, but with the performance of the product.
Okay, thank you for that question, Bowling Green. Let's go out west to Cal Poly. Cal Poly, you got your question ready?
Yes, we do. This question is directed at Alan from International Paper. Not completely sure if if you're directly correlated with this, but we were wondering about the status of the embedded RFID inlay. And in addition to that, has there been any research to be done about the possibility of recycling it?
Absolutely. The RFID tags, when they're embedded in corrugated, they are filtered or screened out as the corrugated is recycled. So they do not pose any limitations or restrictions on the recyclability of the corrugated.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the south, Clemson. Clemson University. Clemson Graphic Communications and Packaging Programs. There you go. Clemson, do you have your question ready?
Yes, I have a question for Alan Clark with International Paper. When you talked about the reduction in line basis weight,
you know what? Could you repeat?
the graph showed lots of very.
They'll say A&T.
Could you do us a favor and start over? We had a little audio garble at the beginning of your statement there.
Sure. I had a question for Alan Clark at International Paper. When you talked about the reduction in linerboard basis weight, the graph showed lots of variability as it trended steadily downward. I was curious why so much ups and downs on the data.
It's likely due to changes in mix. The graph shows the aggregate linerboard weight across all corrugated boxes. So as the mix shifts and as you may have heavier usage of, say, consumption of durables in 1 year versus non-durables, you'll get basis weight changes, and that likely is the cause of some of the variability.
Very good. Let's head over to Dunwoody College of Technology. Dunwoody, do you have a question prepared?
Yeah, this is Matt Olson of Dunwoody, and this is directed to Carla. What might a corrugated internship look like, mainly for the actual graphic design aspect?
Okay, a corrugated intern for graphic design. What you're going to do is you're going to work with a senior designer who has some experience in that, and you're going to be taking your graphic design and tweaking it so that we can easily reproduce it in our machines. You need to be aware of printing processes, and also you need to be aware of the order that you put things together, layers, that sort of thing with Illustrator.
Yeah, we run into a problem at Bay Cities where we have advertising agencies doing graphics and artwork, and it's inevitable that our graphic designers have to take those and manipulate them and create them so we can reproduce it in high volume flexography and even into lithograph. Let's go to Illinois State University. Illinois, do you have your question?
Yeah, I have a question for Alan Clark. There was a lot of news about RFID in packaging a few years back. Is the use of RFID in packaging growing today? And where is that technology being used?
We have not seen that much growth in it in the consumer packaged goods sector, mainly because of the cost of the tags and the cost of the systems integration to put it to use. Where we are seeing more of it is in asset tracking and more for tracking durable goods.
Okay. Let's move on to Lewis Clark, State College. Lewis Clark, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Fire at will.
Okay. In regards to obtaining a job, would you say? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, I just couldn't resist.
Oh. Okay. In regards to obtaining a job, would you say that technical skills or people skills and communication skills weigh more heavily on getting a job?
Mike, you want to answer that one?
Yes, the answer is both. I think you need to have strong cadre of both technical as well as communication skills. Certainly, if I had to take some advice, is that you can't do a great job of communicating your technical knowledge if you're not a good communicator. So, work on both.
Good advice. Good advice. All right, how about live here in our audience, Michigan State University? Question for our panel. It's the biggest group. There must be like 50 questions. Yes.
When it comes to sustainability, how have you seen your business model change when it comes to the Walmart scorecards. I know a lot of companies, like the companies I used to intern for, they had a lot of issues with the cups, figuring out what is it that Walmart actually wants, what are they looking for. How have your business models and like recycled programs, stuff like that, adjusted to what your customer now tells you? Okay, this is what Walmart wants, so this is what we want. What have you guys done differently, or what are you guys moving towards to create like a consistency across the industry when it comes to that big deal with Walmart?
That's a great question, and there's been a lot of emphasis on the Walmart scorecard as our customers are trying to improve their sustainability. The scorecard really hasn't changed what we're doing, but it's helped quantify the impact of what we're doing. And the way the scorecard is set up, about 50% of the score is set based on the substrate that's chosen for the packaging. So once a customer chooses corrugated, that sets about 50% of their packaging score on the scorecard. There's another about 40% that's set based on the amount of product to package ratio, the cube utilization, and transport distance. So we work a lot with our customers to ensure that we build and design an optimal package with the minimal amount, the optimum amount of fiber, and ensure that it cubes out the package and cubes out the transportation container as fully as possible.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Millersville University and Thaddeus Stevens College of Technology. Do you have one question there for us? Millersville and Thaddeus Stevens?
Yes, my question is directed for the first presenter, Mike. Even though the packaging industry is a $23 billion industry, I was wondering how the recent recession has affected the job market and how the industry has changed because of that.
Yes, that's a great question. The global recession has had an impact on every business, and I think according to the FBA statistics for corrugated consumption last year, corrugated consumption was down about 8%. As a result of that, as well as both integrated companies as well as independent companies needing to survive in the short term, I think there was a leaning process. In the short term, that was bad news for the industry, but in the long term, I think it's good news for prospective job seekers for the industry, because many of the organizations today are too lean for the expected uptick in the economy that we should be seeing this year and in following years. And therefore, I think the prospects of gaining a position in the industry should be very good in the near future.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Let's go up north to Mohawk College. Come in.
Hi, how are you doing?
Doing well, thanks.
A little delay, I guess. Our question is about the about recycled content liner board. So I guess maybe it would be best directed towards Alan Clark. We were wondering, what's the biggest factor impacting the marketability of recycled content liner board? What affects the prices of it, and is it always the most economically viable option?
Well, in the United States, most of the market prices for container board are established based on the basis weight of the liner board without much differentiation between recycled and virgin. So there's not generally a significant price difference between a virgin content box and a recycled content box. And so it comes down to designing the box with the performance characteristics you need for the supply chain that it's operating in. And in some environments where you may have high moisture, high cyclic humidity, you would likely lean to more virgin content, and there may be other applications where higher recycled content would be suitable.
Good answer, thank you. And the other thing that we deal with in picking a suitable substrate liner is our print quality. On a 100% recycled liner, we cannot achieve the same level of print that we can on a somewhat mixed virgin recycled combination. So it matters what your graphics are, what you're trying to achieve when selecting that. Let's go to North Carolina A&T. Come in, North Carolina.
Go. Say hi. Say something. Hey, how you doing?
Doing great, thanks.
My name's Samuel Hawkins, and my question is, what are the top 2 skills you are looking for in potential employees?
Richard?
I have three.
All right.
One of the first guys I ever worked for said that to be successful in this industry, he was looking for people with three skills. First was he was looking for people, intelligent people, that could work with other people in the workforce. So you've got intelligence, probably the ability to be able to develop relationships with people and work with other people, and then those with good communication skills. So he said if you had those three skills, then you'd have a good opportunity to be successful.
I'll tell you
Thank you very much.
the overarching paramount thing that we look for in people that when we're hiring them, we're interviewing in the interviewing process, is we're hiring attitude. That's the bottom line. Everything else can really be developed and taught and learned along the way. But the person with the right attitude coming in the door that shows willingness and eagerness to work and wants to do a good job, that's what we're hiring. Because unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that don't have the right attitude coming through our doors. Let's go to North Carolina. Well, we just did that. Let's go to Pennsylvania. Got some snow out there as well. Pennsylvania College of Technology. PA?
Hi. Okay. This question is open to all members. What are some new innovations in corrugated?
New innovations in corrugated. Who'd like to take that one? What about Mike? You've been
yes,
light
thank
on the
you for
questions.
that. Yeah, I mean, it's there's so much versatility in corrugated today, and so many opportunities for innovation. I would say that it may not be limited to substrate or printing, but it's the use of corrugated to displace competitive materials. I think that's very innovative. I think it's the innovative designs that are selling corrugated today. And certainly we're working on corrugated technology. Certainly we're working on sustainability and building higher performing container boards with lighter basis weight. I think those are all substantial innovations that we need to see more to continue to promote corrugated as the packaging solution substrate.
Nice answer. Thanks, Mike. For us also, we're seeing a growth in the area, a particular line of work called trap packs, which is like a corrugated clamshell. It's kind of eliminating the plastic or majority of the plastics out of the clamshell by making most of the structure in corrugated with just the blisters or bubbles being the plastic part. That seems to be the most growth right now. If you go into any club store, you'll see a lot of these trap packs almost on every aisle. Let's go to Rochester Institute of Technology. RIT, come in.
Greetings from snowy Rochester. This is a question, I guess, for Richard in terms of the ICPF. Is that organization planning any on-site visits to educational facilities to promote their careers in corrugated, other than use this forum to do that, or is it something that maybe could be pushed off to local members of your organization that could visit each of the area universities?
Certainly, we're working in all the areas of the universities. Currently, we have our partners that have operations in the areas of the various colleges and universities that are teaching corrugated curricula. So if you have interest, if you currently do not have industry advisors on your advisory board, or you wish to have speakers in the classroom, we on a weekly basis provide that to institutions. So we encourage you to contact us and let us know specifically what your need might be.
Thank you, RIT. All right, University of Florida. Come in, University of Florida.
All right. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who would be most suited to answer this question, but as far as speed to markets is concerned, that is very important to most customers. So what new trends or processes have you seen implemented in quality control equipment to help reduce the time to bring a new product to the market?
Richard, you want to take that? Or Carla?
In quality control equipment?
Speed to market sounds like the opinion of the question.
You know, I really can't address any specific quality control equipment. But I can say that over the last few years, the key is, and you nailed it, is speed to market, which has become critical to all of our customers, many of which have had promotion lead times that would require them to spend as much as 26 weeks getting a promotion to market or a product to market. In some instances, what we've been able to do is the big thing in the last few years has become modularity. So we come out with modular type programs, and then we incorporate the use of digital graphics now to be able to do that. And so in many instances, we're able to drive that number down from an average 5 years ago of about 26 weeks for a typical consumer products company down now to where at some of them we have it down to 4 days from the moment that they give us an order to they're able to start shipping. And the factor is how big is the order. If it's a $20 million order, then we can't have it done in a week, but we can start it in 4 days no matter what.
Does that answer? Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. Let's go to University of Wisconsin Stout. Come in, Wisconsin.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. All right, great. I have a question here for Alan Clark, and I was wondering, how is the life cycle analysis expected to affect the corrugated industry and provide growth?
Well, I think one of the things it's going to do is that it will quantify the environmental benefits. A lot of what I talked about today gave you some general concepts of how corrugated is very sustainable. The life cycle analysis is going to put facts and data behind that and will allow for a factual comparison of corrugated against other substrates such as plastic. And I think those who are interested in building a more sustainable package will be able to put the facts behind that, and I think that'll certainly help with our growth.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Thank you, University of Wisconsin, for that question. Let's go to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, come in.
Hi, yes. Yeah, this is to Richard Branson at Smurfit Stone. As more schools are educating their students on corrugated design, will it become increasingly difficult to find a job in the corrugated design sales market?
Say that again one more time for me. As more schools are
educating their students on corrugated design, will it become increasingly difficult to find a job in the corrugated design / sales market?
Well, clearly the market will have an equilibrium point. It depends on how many people are out there in it, but at this point in time, I would certainly say that there's still a lack of people within this field between both the CPGs, consumer products companies, and the manufacturers themselves. So at this point in time, we may get there, as do all different types of jobs, but I don't think that we're anywhere near that point yet.
I also would like to say something about that, and that is it's a very regional business. A lot of the work is being done in specific regions, so what you find are that companies are predominantly hiring in their general regions, and one of the reasons that ICPF is so active in promoting the development of corrugated curricula is because each of these regions is not necessarily served as well as the other region is. So we're trying to create a little bit more of an equilibrium in that regard. And if you're willing to travel and if you're willing to locate anywhere in the United States, there's a multitude of opportunities for you.
Very true. Thank you, Richard. Okay, and Western Michigan University.
Hi, this question is directed towards Mike, but it's also open to the rest of the panel. What kind of classes and experiences will prepare us to improve process control within the corrugated industry?
Yeah, that's a great question. There are a number of classes available in some of the basic technologies that we use, like Corrugators 101, certainly paper making, flexography, die cutting, tool and die making. I think those things prepare you for some of the basics of combining container boards and making high quality container board, as well as converting it either by cutting, gluing, or printing. But additionally, I'd like to open up your thought process and think about achieving some education in areas like Lean Six Sigma. I think those areas serve you very well for process redesign in the industry and really take advantage of a fresh look at every process that we have, whether it be front office or manufacturing, and look at it as a process and dissect the process and look for opportunities to improve the quality by narrowing the variation and have a more repeatable process, as well as finding those opportunities to eliminate the waste in the process and speed the process up. There was a question earlier about the relevance of speed to market today, and speed to market is not only speed of innovation, and there's been a lot of work done in the Lean Six Sigma area in terms of innovating with high rates of speed, but also your ability to uncover needs of customers and translate them into products and deliver them on time. So I think the Lean Six Sigma route is certainly a tool for you to think about to supplement the basics that the industry supplies today.
Thank you, Western Michigan, and thank you for that, Mike. You know, we've got a few minutes left, so we're going to go ahead and take it from the top and try to get through as many round two schools as we can for another set of questions. So let's start with the top with Appalachian State. Come in, Appalachian. I used to say Appalachian before today, so I'm still trying to think.
Yeah, let's not say that.
Thank you.
So I think this has been asked a bunch, but we want to know what careers in Corrugated are experiencing the greatest growth, and how can students best prepare for those careers? Anybody can answer it.
Yeah, it's anybody. Alan?
Right now, we're hiring interns and full-time positions in operations. We're also looking for salespeople full-time. We have a sales development program. And as Carla and Richard had mentioned, design is certainly a great opportunity in our industry. And I'd say one of the ways to stay current on what opportunities are available is to go to the ICPF website, careersincorrugated.org.
Very nice. Perfect.
Thank you.
Let's go over to Bowling Green State University. Do you have a second question for our panel?
Yeah, to Richard Branson. In sales, is 3 to 5 years experience still the norm for an entry-level sales position?
3 to 5 years?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, actually, I don't think that there's any specific norm at this point in time. We would hire, for instance, met a young lady yesterday from one of the packaging schools and was very interested in bringing her in as like a sales intern type thing. I think that one of the other things that this panel discussed last night was the fact that sales is one of the few areas in a career that you can actually be earning quite a good living within a very short period of time. So a successful salesperson that came in was able to grasp the concept to develop relationships and build business for our company or for any company that, for that matter, should be able to generate a very substantial income in a pretty short period of time.
Let's go to Cal Poly State, Graphic Packaging and Communications. Cal Poly?
Yes, hi. This question is for Carla. I wanted to know a little bit more about the printing process. I'm aware that the 3 different techniques would be pre-print, and then post-print, and then lithography. And to get the best short run graphics, what would you say? Post-print, I know litho-laminate is probably the most used, but is post-print coming up, and what would be the best run for that?
Well, you're correct. I would say litho for a short run, because with litho you really only have setup charges and then the charges for the litho itself. If you want to go into post-print, you need to take into considerations charges for plates, and plates can run into the thousands of dollars. And so if you're going to run a short run, you're going to want to try and minimize those setup costs. So I would say litho is probably your best bet. And we also have the option, though, of digital printing for extremely short runs, which is quite effective, actually.
Yeah, digital print being the newest format coming onto the packaging world. It's been slow out of the gates, but it seems like digital is coming on. The gap is narrowing between digital and flexo. Let's go to Clemson. We probably got time for one more question. Clemson Graphic Communications and Packaging. Come in.
Yes, hi. This question's for Alan Clark. Can you assess the impact of digital printing on retail display graphics?
There you go.
I'm probably not the best person to answer that. I may pitch that to our display folks.
Sure. Digital printing on a retail display. Are you asking from an environmental standpoint?
Short run production.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Short runs.
Short runs. Yeah, sure. We use digital printing, especially for promotional type displays, or sometimes we have a display where we'll change out the header. Oftentimes we can do a digital print, or we could do digital prints that are going to be in different markets. So we may have the same display with a different header card, so we'll need shorter runs for those. And digital print works perfectly for that.
You know, and if I could give you just an intriguing thought, is that I recommend you go to a website called eink.com. And one of the things that's going to be coming at some point in time is the fact that e-ink is one of those companies that's providing the screen and the graphics for some of the new iPad, something like that. They have a way of being able to come up with digital header cards that you literally can change the graphics just by using your cell phone, so that you could change pricing at a different time of the day. You could change different types of graphics depending on the environment and the types of consumers that are in those areas. So that's something that's going to be on the horizon for this industry.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Clemson, for that question and answer. That's going to conclude our Q&A portion of this year's presentation. And if you do have any other additional questions, you can email the ICPF and we can get those answered for you. Thank you all to the schools and for everybody out there for those questions. It was a very good round of that. By the way, remember, if you're interested in a job in our industry, go to the ICPF website, www.careersincorrugated.org. There's also a job bank there in which companies from the industry post jobs and internships. You also can post your resumes there as well. And now it's time for our student battle for top cash prize of $1,500 and an ICPF $2,500 grant to support the corrugated curriculum of the top team's college or university. It's a battle among the teams from Mohawk College, Cal Poly, and Millersville University. They'll do battle in this ICPF's 9th annual Best of the Best Student Winners Competition among the first and second place winners in 2 categories in the AICC Student Corrugated Design Competition. We've asked these students to show, tell, and sell their entry as they might a prospective customer or client. They only have 5 minutes, and our judges will select a first, second, and third place winner. They will be judged on content and on presentation skills. All teams today will receive cash prizes. The Design to an Opportunity student winners were asked to design a structure that accomplishes a given task while accounting for converting challenges. For this competition, it was corrugated packaging design for shipping individual laptop computers. The Open Design student winners were asked to design any structure in which they design the die line and graphics and print the job. You should know that the top student winners that are competing today won an all-expense paid trip to the AICC National Convention in Las Vegas this past October, where they were assembled on stage for international recognition. Let's go straight to Mohawk College to hear Team Pamela Spywak, Josh Windle, Hazel Connigan, Neil Baton, and Mike Turnbull tell us why we should buy their design DNA computers. Mohawk?
Hi everyone, we're the design team from Mohawk College. I'm Hazel.
I'm Mike.
I'm Pamela.
And I'm Neil.
As a leading computer manufacturer, DNA wanted a package as unique as their product. The original design consisted of an RSC with 2 EPS end caps. However, problems supporting the middle of the laptop and accessory shifting caused damage to the product. This created a need for a redesign. The new design must be able to protect the laptop and accessories during the distribution process. DNA wanted a package made of one environmentally sustainable material. In order for this to be a success, the package must protect the product, be informative at retail, and lower the carbon footprint. So, how is this achieved?
Well, first we're going to start with protection. This is where our design developed from. As you can see in our Ardios animation, press play. As you can see in our Ardios presentation, our design is composed of 3 pieces that are knocked down flat. From top to bottom, we have our display shipper, accessory tray, and laptop tray. You can see that the laptop tray acts as a lid now to the accessory tray while keeping its compression strength. The computer sits in the middle of the tray and has 2 large folded pads to cushion its sides and for ample buffer space. And this is it closing up. And we're back. Sorry about that. With our design, we wanted to create an experience of opening the product. We wanted it to be kind of like a jewelry box, where you open the box, it's there, you don't have to go digging through it. So right when you open the box, you slide it out, and you immediately have your laptop there. It's presented, and you can immediately enjoy your computer. And yeah.
Okay, and through clean, clear graphics, we were able to inform, break through the clutter, and spark intrigue with our consumers at retail. The logo, which is the helix, represents personalization to the customer and promotes brand equity. The hand and thumbprints are embossed and hot stamped, and the handprints on the side will emulate customers wanting to get their hands on that product. The remaining graphics will be done by flexography using water-based inks with no VOCs to reduce contamination in the recycling stream. The graphics at the back with the hands, it just explains features about the computer, and the inside graphics are left simple and minimal and just describe what's inside the box. And next, Neil will explain sustainability.
So we met DNA's emission and sustainability requirements through 2 elements of this package. The first one being the design itself, and the second, the material we used. The design addresses the issues which were causing damaged units, therefore eliminating the emissions associated with the return and reshipment of damaged computers. All components of the package knocked down flat for efficient transportation to the filler, and we used minimal adhesive to limit contamination of the corrugated recycle stream. The material, like we've heard a lot about corrugated board today, it's the single most recycled packaging material. Some estimates say that 80% of corrugated manufactured in the United States is recovered and recycled for reuse every year. Liner board we wanted it to be sourced from companies certified as practicing sustainable forestry, and the pulp and paper industry that produces the liner board is a leader in carbon neutral fuels like biomass. So we know that the energy is coming from sustainable and clean sources. So we feel that we've met and exceeded all of the sustainability requirements that DNA put on us. Hazel?
Thank you for your time today, and remember, with this package, DNA Computers is a product everyone will want to get their hands on.
Okay, thank you, Mohawk. Nice job. Congratulations. Do you think this might be good on the resumes? You bet it is. And that's why all you students out there should plan on entering the competition for 2010. Now let's go to California, where the Cal Poly team of Emily Christensen, David Fullerton, Andrew Callahan, and Sean Lawyer will show, tell, and sell us their open design Beirut starter kit. Please keep in mind that this team was selected for its packaging and graphics design. The ICPF, Cal Poly, and the Cal Poly student team strongly discourage students from participating in any drinking games and support campus initiatives to eliminate these games. Cal Poly?
Thank you. Hi, I'm Andrew Callahan. This is David Fullerton, Emily Christensen, and Sean Lawyer, and we're from the Cal Poly Packaging Program, here to present our Beirut Starter Kit. There are many different stories of the history of how Beirut got started. Many of them are different, but one thing they have in common is the origin. In the 50s and 60s is when it got started, and it's becoming very popular today. One thing that happened was a couple of friends were playing and their ping pong paddles got broke, so they started picking the balls up with their hands and throwing them. This is how Beirut was born. Our group decided to take those 3 aspects, the cups, the balls, and the instructions, and put it on one easy to display box. Beirut has gotten so large now that there's a national league called the National Beirut League. I'd like to now turn it over to Sean. He's going to cover the marketing.
Well, kind of building off what Andrew said, when we designed this product, we had to meet the expectations of our target market, which was young adults. We know that young adults are constantly looking for ease and simplicity in their lifestyle, and so the combination of the balls, the cups, and the actual rules and setup of the game on the package is something that we think they'd be interested in. Just going further into the actual setup and the rules, we know that around different places there's different rules. So we decided to include standard rules so there'd be no discrepancies between the different players that play the game. Another thing is a unique design. We knew that this was a competition, so we decided to suspend the ping pong balls on the front of the package. We figured that on a retail shelf, this is very enticing to the retailers who want to pick up the product and touch it. We're understand through the Global Association of Marketing and Retail that over 80% of the products that are picked up in the hand actually end up being purchased. Just some more information about where we plan to sell this product. We think it can be found in local grocers such as Albertsons and Safeway in the utensils or the beverage aisle. We know that normally when you go to a store, you have to go find the ping pong balls and the cups. But we feel that it's almost a one-stop shop if you can pick up this product in the beverage of your choice. Lastly, another target market we look to reach out to is the tailgaters across America. In certain tailgating situations at sporting venues, there's a lot of dead time within the actual starting of the sporting event and sitting in the parking lot. Beirut is a perfect pastime for this time, so we feel that this is something that they might be interested in also. I'm going to pass it off to David now. He's going to talk about the structural advantages of this package.
For its structure, we chose an E-flute corrugated board, which gives the package adequate support for the product during shipping and durability for continuous use. We use an E-flute, but any microflute can be used for this package. We chose corrugated board because it gives the package printability, the printability of paperboard, but it increases the package's strength. The standard layout from Ardios CAD makes it easy to incorporate into standard runs, into short runs, and reduces line waste. The cut lines and package assembly are geared for quick setup, filling, and closing speeds necessary for short runs. So now Emily is going to talk about the graphics of the product.
So for our product, we wanted a very straightforward and eye-catching look. We chose bright colors, words, and images. We wanted to keep the diagrams and the directions very concise, considering that a majority of our target market is already very familiar with the game. For the high-quality printing, we chose lithographic lamination. This combines the strength and protection of a corrugate box while maintaining the high-quality printing. We're going to finish with a UV coating for a high luster look. Because going green and economically friendly are very important to consumers, we thought that this would reduce the packaging. The retail packaging and the transit packaging can be in the same box. Finally, our product is quintessential to any Beirut enthusiast and will also maintain high product package standards.
Well, thank you for your time today. Now that you've kind of heard about the history of the game of Beirut, the marketing ploys, and how we plan to sell this product, you've also heard about the structure of the package and how we labeled it to catch the consumer's eye. We hope that you enjoy this product, and we hope to see it on a retail shelf near you soon. Thank you, and have a nice day.
Thank you, Cal Poly. Very informative presentation. Thank you. Now competing from Pennsylvania are Seth Tucker and TJ Ramali, representing Millersville University with their winning entry in the design and opportunity category. Gentlemen, Seth, TJ.
Where? Hi, I'm Seth Tucker, a recent graphic communications graduate.
And I'm TJ Ramali, a technology education major, and we are representing Millersville University. We work to recreate the standard laptop definition of packaging in a way that eliminates the unsustainable materials such as styrofoam completely, and which lowers the carbon footprint, all while encouraging the idea of multifunctional use. With sustainable laptop packaging, we are able to market towards the eco-conscious buyers, and they're making up a considerable portion of the market share even in today's economy. Traditionally, packaging is either thrown away or at least hopefully recycled after receiving a product. But to encourage farther eco-friendly thinking, we have incorporated 2 additional multi-uses into our packaging. First, we have created a briefcase by adding a handle that we are able to carry whether the laptop or any other products around in a briefcase. Second, the sleek side angle that we've incorporated onto the side has created an ergonomically friendly laptop desk. This angle also allows for the packages to be stacked, which makes it a lot easier to be transporting even with that angle on the side. Our entire design is made out of corrugated material. We eliminated all plastic, all styrofoam, and even adhesives completely. So it is just corrugated material. Also, our design is considering the efficiency of the production line because we are able to incorporate 2 complete sets of this package on one single standard stock sheet.
I'm going to briefly go over just some of the inner portions of our laptop box. As you can see, we went with a more simple design for marketing. It basically gets the idea across that we're Marauder Computers. The logo is a Marauder for our Millersville Marauders. As you see inside, we went over the multi-use. Using interlocking tabs, we open up to find the other 2 portions of the laptop box. This portion here is a paperboard insert used to hold CDs as well as manuals inside. You can just lift it up inside, and the CDs sit inside these holders here. Upon removal of the paperboard insert, you actually see some of the main sources of protection for the laptop box, which would be these air cells on the side. These also not only provide multi-layers of protection, but they also house the power adapters and any other cords you would wish to use with your laptop. Not only with the air cells, we also have 3 layers of protection on the top, as well as 2 layers on the bottom when it's folded up from the briefcase. The secondary part inside the laptop box is the actual laptop holder itself. This also provides additional protection with the laptop, which sits in the middle. These fold open to expose inside where the laptop would sit, and it would be held by these tabs, as well as providing layers on the side and air cells on the bottom as additional protection for the laptop once placed inside.
Eco-friendly, sustainability, and efficiency. These are not just words that we need to look at in the future, but words that companies need to be considering today if they want to be successful.
And these traits, were our top priorities when creating this laptop box, and will continue to be our priorities in jobs, in education, and in industry. Thank you.
All right, thanks guys. Great presentations from everyone. I think there could be a career opening in corrugated packaging and design for each of you. Please remember to visit ICPF's website, www.careersincorrugated.org, to post your resumes and view available jobs that are regularly posted there. Also contact ICPF by email if you're interested in internships. It's a great way to get your foot in the door for a full-time position in the corrugated industry upon graduation. Now, before we identify the winners, I want to remind you to enter the 2010 AICC Student Design Competition. The categories are the same: Design to an Opportunity, Open Design, and Corrugated as Art. However, the ICPF does not include the category Corrugated as Art in the Best of the Best runoff competition. This year's AICC Design to an Opportunity Challenge is to create a counter display using corrugated material to hold 2 different sized bottles of high-end fragrance. The deadline for design entries is June 18th, 2010. Full competition materials are available through ICPF's website at www.careersincorrugated.org. We hope that you will participate in this competition that brings you cash prizes, school recognition, and exposure to the industry that benefits your future. Judges, have the winners of the 2010 ICPF Best of the Best Student Design Presentation been selected? Feels like we need a drum roll. For Michigan State. See, you got what I asked for.
It was very close.
Very close. Okay. Thank you, Richard. Third place will be Cal Poly's team with the Beirut starter kit. Second place, Millersville. First place, Mohawk. Congratulations to all of those student winners. Yes. And we hope that, like I said, next year we have participation. In the 10 years I've been doing this, Michigan State University has had 1 live presentation of that. So I would challenge the biggest group here to come back next year and have a presentation. It would be pretty cool. Let's see. It looks like our time is almost up. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you all participate next year. I'd like to thank Richard Flaherty and the ICPF and Steve Young, the president of the AICC, that's Association of Independent Corrugated Converters, for making this event possible today. And it's always a pleasure for me to come out and do this thing and get involved with the students at this level. I'd like to thank our presenters for making the trip as well. And hopefully it was informative and good for you, because it's definitely good for us. So, goodbye, everybody, and remember to visit the ICPF website, www.careersincorrugated.org. Thank you, and have a great afternoon, evening.